Two titles change hands at NXT Vengeance Day. NXT talent allowed to work independent shows? Maybe, possibly. And Warner Brothers Discovery pissed off at a certain AEW star. Hello, welcome to the Solo Sunday News here at What Culture Wrestling with myself, Andrew Pollard. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, turn notification bells on, and most importantly, as ever, just have the best possible day, whether you're doing something or whether you're doing absolutely nothing. I hope you have the best possible day going. But hey, you're not here to hear me ramble on, you're here to hear me ramble on about wrestling. So, NXT Vengeance Day was last night, and two sets of titles changed hands even. Yes, we have new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions and new Men's Tag Team Champions. Now, the women's match, it was Kiana James and Fallon Henley dethroning Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Katana Chance is still one of the worst names of professional wrestling. Because NXT loves horrendous names. But yes, we have new women's tag champs, and this all came about after, I believe it was Kaden Carter was pinned by Fallon Henley, who had got her in a kind of a roll-up pinning combination. And then from the outside, the nefarious Kiana James hooked the legs of Carter, giving that extra leverage for the 1, 2, 3. This, of course, is all kind of part of the ongoing storyline between Kiana James and Fallon Henley, where Fallon Henley is a babyface. Kiana James is kind of trying to be a babyface, but can't help but resort to underhand tactics. So as a result of that, we now have new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And we also, as mentioned, have new Men's Tag Team Champions. And there's my pose. The Gallus Boys. Yes, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang are your new NXT Tag Team Champions. And not just that, because obviously this was a four-way match involving the previous champions, New Day and Chase University and Pretty Deadly. But not just did Gallus get the win, but they actually pinned the New Day. Specifically, it was Mark Coffey pinning Xavier Woods after they hit the high-low finish. So Xavier Woods pinned for the 3 count, which is kind of cool to see in that way. It gives Gallus that extra, I guess, dose of credibility, because a lot of people thought that, yes, we probably would get a title change here, but also that it wouldn't be New Day who ate the fall, because that's often the case with matches that, in this case, a 4-way match where somebody else can get the pin. New Day don't lose any credibility. I mean, New Day are Teflon anyway. They're not going to lose any credibility if they got pinned. So, yes, your new NXT Tag Team Champions are the Gallus Boys. Elsewhere on the card, Bron Breakker retained the NXT Men's Championship against Grayson Waller in a steel cage match. You had Roxanne Perez retaining the women's title against Toxic Attraction in a triple threat match. You had Wesley retaining the North American title against Dijak in the opening match of the card, which was a really fun match. I really enjoyed that. Dijak suffered a horrible looking injury. His finger looked like it was broken. There's me with a little cut on my finger because my cat, being my cat. Dijak looked like he'd broken his finger. It's just he put a picture of himself on Twitter of his finger just going in. It looks grim. But Shawn Michaels said after the event, as part of the press conferences the media calls that NXT and WWE do these days, that Dijak has somehow miraculously not broken his finger. There was an X-ray, so I was gonna say he's okay, but he's clearly not, 'cause his finger's going in a weird direction. And you also had Carmelo beating Apollo 2-0 in their 2 out of 3 falls match. After there was also the return of, I was going to say Commander Aziz, but I was going to say Babatunde. What is he going by now? Dabba-Kato. He's gone by that name again. The big dude who was on Raw Underground attacked Apollo following the match. But elsewhere in NXT news, there's contrasting reports that NXT talent are allowed at the moment now, going forward, to work independent shows, or as it was put, select indies, which would be massive if that is the case, because I mean, historically, WWE don't particularly play well with others, and they don't really let their talent work outside dates for other promotions. The exception recently being, of course, Shinsuke Nakamura working for Noah as part of the Great Muta's, well, Keiji Muto's farewell tour. But yeah, there was a report from Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer who said that that NXT talent are going to be able to work select indie shows. And this was highlighted by Ivy Nile already being booked to appear for Booker T's Reality of Wrestling promotion next weekend, next Saturday. Now, counteracting that, there is Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful Select, who spoke to Shawn Michaels after NXT last night as part of the media calls, and Shawn Michaels said that this is not the case, that NXT talent are not allowed to work independent shows, and in the case of Ivy Nile, it's just a one-off appearance where Booker T requested her, and NXT said, yeah, cool, whatever. So make of this story what you will. You've got Brian Alvarez at The Observer saying, yeah, NXT talent are going to work indie shows, and then you've got from the voice, well, from the mouth of Shawn Michaels himself saying, nah, man, that's not the case. So I don't know if maybe Brian's jumped the gun a little bit there, but that's something to keep an eye on in case anything else develops further from that. Now, in terms of developing further, Jake the Snake Roberts in AEW. If you are hoping to see one of his snakes in play the next time Jake rears his head in AEW, I'm afraid that's not going to happen. He's detailed on his the Snake Pit podcast. Actually, no, it's called the DDP Snake Pit podcast with Diamond Dallas Page, of course. Jake the Snake Roberts has detailed how Warner Brothers Discovery executives are pissed off at him, or they were pissed off at him for bringing a snake to the ring. Now, this goes back to, May? I think it was May 2020, where obviously Jake appeared in AEW a month or two prior and basically confronted Cody Rhodes, said he had a client on the way who was going to beat the tar out of Cody. That client, of course, would be Lance Archer. And as part of the rivalry between Archer and Cody, there was a moment where Jake the Snake in the ring brought out his snake and put it on Brandy, as he used to do all the time in classic Jake Roberts fashion. And AEW, well, not AEW, I keep saying AEW. I've had lots of coffee today, as you may have guessed. But yes, Warner Brothers Discovery, or would it just be Warner Brothers, Warner Media at that point in time? So I don't think the Discovery deal will come together. Anyway, people there were pissed off because he brought a real snake to the ring. And also he said that Jake and AEW were come down on hard by Warner Brothers Discovery. I feel like my words are not coming out properly today, so apologies. Don't be giving me beef in the comments. It's too early on a Sunday for that. Let's peace and love today, man. But yes, so there will be no more snake action from Jake Roberts in AEW. He did also, at this point, though, on his podcast, discuss about being open to using an animatronic snake, which just sounds... Jake, I love you, man, but no, just that would look absolute trash. I'm getting flashbacks of Eric Rowan and the robotic spider thing. Nah, man, nothing good is going to come from this. Right, some quick questions to run through because it's a kind of slow Sunday today, news-wise. So I'm going to run through some questions, hopefully as quick as possible, because I may or may not have a McDonald's breakfast being on the way to deliver to me. Other brands are available. Reese Macy's got in touch. Do you think Sammy is... A lot of these questions are Sami Zayn questions today, which I'm cool with. Reese Macy's got in touch. Do you think Sammy is screwed out of the belt at Elimination Chamber? Then, when Cody wins both belts at Mania, he calls for the belts to be split, and Sammy wins a Universal title after winning a tournament versus KO in the final. We all assume Roman leaves for a while after he loses. I think there is shenanigans at Elimination Chamber. I think it's possibly, maybe that's where Jey Uso realigns himself with the bloodline and proves himself to Roman, or he helps Roman beat Sami Zayn. As for what happens with the titles going forward, I think they need to be split. And part of me was kind of thinking maybe they split before WrestleMania. I don't think that is going to be the case now. But, I mean, Sami Zayn winning the tournament against Kevin Owens in the final, that could work. It's... The situation is, though, you've got this like lightning in a bottle with Sami Zayn right now where you need to strike, ideally, like right now. Is there still going to be this fever around Sami Zayn in, I don't know, say, if there's a tournament after WrestleMania that concludes in, I don't know, May, June, can you sustain this reaction for Sami until then? I don't know. It's an interesting one to think about. Sean Finchhausen's got in touch. Very good name there, Sean. Morning, Andrew. Could you envision Sami winning at Elimination Chamber to set up a face versus face match against Cody at Mania, or even Cody to play heel against Sami? I don't. I'm open to it, but I just think that I think Sami comes up short Elimination Chamber by hook or by crook. Roman Reigns retains and then goes on to face Cody at WrestleMania. I don't think we get some people talked about, do we get Roman in action twice at WrestleMania, once on each day? I don't think we get that. I think it's just Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39. Sami and Kevin Owens are probably going to go for the tag titles or one version of the tag titles or the unified tag titles, whatever they want to do with that. But no, unfortunately, I don't think we get Cody versus Sami at WrestleMania, but I would absolutely be here for that. And I think as well, I don't think we'd be getting Cody as a heel just yet, because again, the pops he's getting, the babyface reactions he's getting, you want to make the most of that while it's there, because it's a rare thing in professional wrestling to have those sort of reactions. Sergio Pereira's got in touch. Hey Sergio, does Sami Zayn's glorious beard deserve its own title? Yes. To quote Daniel Bryan, yes, it absolutely does. Magnificent beard. Hector Garcia III. Hey, Hector. I don't want this to happen and take away from a Cody WrestleMania win, but can you see a scenario where at WrestleMania, Solo turns on Roman goes away for a while, Solo goes on a singles tear, Roman comes back to start a babyface run and starts it feuding with Solo? I feel like I've said Solo a lot there. Actually, shout out to the Solo Monster, Jason Solomon, who does great stuff with the sound off. Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns, that could be a great story as and when it happens, if and when it happens. I don't think we get that just yet. I don't think Solo. I mean, Solo seems to be the most loyal of soldiers out of the whole bloodline right now to Roman Reigns. I don't think we quite get any sort of turn just yet. But I mean, man, there's so much story there. If you wanted to do that, if you wanted to go that route, same with Jey Uso, same with Jim Uso, Jey Uso, man. It's like, oh, it kind of feels like at the Royal Rumble when he walks out, it's almost like he's got like PTSD of like remembering how Roman treated him like 2 years ago. Oh, such a multifaceted story that can go so many different directions. But no, I don't think we get the Solo turn on Roman anytime soon. But I mean, I do think we get that Roman goes away once he does lose these titles, because I mean, the guy deserves a break. I know people will say he's a part-timer, he doesn't wrestle that much, but let him go have some time with his family. He's been on a hell of a run, man, a career best run. TG Card's got in touch. Tuna Gaming. Hey, another early one. What if we all looked at this wrong? Hear me out. Wyatt 6 might be right in front of us. The Schism, 3 males and 1 female. The Pig is Joe Gacy. The Buzzard is tall, bald one. Rip Fowler, that would be. Rabbit is grizzled young friend. And Rocky's own blood as someone else. Maybe. I still think, and I hope I'm wrong in this one, but I still think that Cameron Grimes is going to be one of the White Six as and when things happen with that. But yeah, there's, I mean, Schism, they fit that kind of the spooky kooky kind of thing going on. So they could fit. And I mean, Bo Dallas as Uncle Howdy, Captain Howdy, Uncle Howdy, Captain Howdy. No, Captain Howdy's the Exorcist. That's geez. Right, where are we here? Tripping on a hole in a paper heart. Well, that's a very interesting name. With WWE letting NXT talent do indie shows, does WWE take the cut of the money they get paid at these shows like they started doing with streaming on places like Twitch, or does the talent get to keep it all? Are there any promotions that are banned from talent doing, like GCW? I don't think we'll be getting any NXT names in GCW, but as mentioned earlier, this story seems like it's kind of dead on arrival. The story of WWE, NXT talent's going to be working indies. I mean, if Shawn Michaels has said that it's not happening, I'll take it. I'll take that. I'm not the biggest Heartbreak Kid fan. Hey, Team Brett, man, all the way. So those for Shawn, but I will take his word on this one. I just randomly cussing out Shawn Michaels at like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And on that note, I am going to scoot off for the day. I'm not going to scoot off. I'm going to go and do work for another, 6 hours or so, and drink more coffee, because coffee's always good on a Sunday. But yes, I've been Andrew Pollard from What Culture Wrestling. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, turn notification bells on. And most importantly, as ever, have the best possible day. Whether you do something or you're doing nothing, I hope it goes well. And if it's not going so well, I hope it turns around pretty quick for you. But come and give us a follow at What Culture WWE on the Twitter. Follow me if you want, at Culture Left Peg on the Twitter. And I will see you next Sunday.